Hello everybody, it's DK and welcome back to another redstone tutorial here on the channel. Today we are looking at slime farms, which are an absolute necessity for anybody that does big redstone projects, as slime is used for slime blocks and sticky pistons, which if you're making huge contraptions and auto farms, you're going to need a lot of those. So let's get started today by looking at the materials that you're going to need for today's build. So for today's build, you're going to need a variety of items. You're going to need some redstone blocks, some powered rails, some building blocks of your choice, some regular rails, 2 minecarts with hoppers, some regular hoppers, 2 chests, some magma blocks, some jack-o'-lanterns, some blocks of iron, and some fence. Now, let's get started by talking about slime chunks. So you probably noticed this massive hole I have in the ground here. Well, this is a slime chunk, and slime chunks are very specific areas in a Minecraft world where slimes can spawn. They can't just spawn anywhere. So if you're playing this in survival mode, you have 2 choices. Number 1, you can just hope that you randomly stumble upon a slime chunk while you're mining. Or number 2, you can do the /seed command, not sleed. The /seed command, get your seed, and you can go to the website Chunkbase. And on Chunkbase, they have a slime finder where if you put in your seed, it will show you all of the areas in your world that are chunk blocks, or that are slime chunks. So, some people consider that cheaty. I consider that using a valuable resource to be able to find an area that is valuable to you. Now, I've gone ahead and cleared this out, but if you're just starting out, you are going to have to clear this entire chunk out, which is going to be a ton of work. Now, if you want to see the border for your chunk so you know where you're digging, all you have to do if you're on PC is hold the F3 key and hit G, and it'll turn chunk borders on. Now, if you can see, I've dug out this chunk, and I've also done the next step already. I've dug out 2 blocks, actually 3 blocks, out to each side. I've gone out this side 3 blocks, and I've gone out this side 3 blocks as well. So that is the first step. You have to clear this out, and you need to clear out 3 blocks on either side of your chunk as well, because we're going to need those 3 blocks, and they're going to be very important. So with that, let's move on to the next step. After you've cleared everything out and you have your chunks cleared out to the sides, just like so, we're going to have to take and we're going to have to start setting up our rail system that is going to collect all of the slime that drops down for us. So in order to do that, I'm going to need my smooth stone, my rails, my powered rails, and my blocks of redstone. So what I'm going to do here is I've cleared out 3 blocks over here, but I'm actually going to need 4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clear out 4 blocks. I'm going to place a floor block wide pattern, and I'm going to place this all the way down to the edge of my chunk, right to where this blue line is. And I'm just going to keep repeating this, just going 4 blocks wide all the way back until I am at the other edge of my chunk. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have everything cleared out, or we have our blocks placed in here. They're running directly up to the edge of our slime chunk. And with that, it is time to start talking about Minecart Rails. So, there's a couple things that we need to do first here. Okay? We're going to want to place our Minecart Rails directly under these, or directly on these 3 rows, or these 3 lines right here. But we're going to need this 4th line as kind of a return channel here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by making a very simple return channel. And I'm just going to have this run just like so, because this is how I want this to run. I'm going to go all the way up to here. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to run this one up this direction, just like so. Boom. Now, once I've done this, I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to start placing in another row, because I want this to go all the way down here, and I want this to turn and come all the way back up and connect up for my final row. And I don't want it to connect here, I want it to connect up here. So this is a very simple minecart track here that will basically feed back around itself and make an infinite loop. The only problem that I have currently is that the minecart is not going to make it all the way around this. So we're going to add in some powered rails, which in order to do that, I'm just going to break 2 of these blocks, throw in a block of redstone, and throw a powered rail in here. And I'm going to do that in a couple other various points around here. Right now, it really doesn't matter where I'm doing this. I'm just trying to add 1 per row. Because if I add 1 per row, that should give it enough power to be able to make it all the way around. And once we've done this, we can test it by grabbing one of our minecarts with our hopper on it and throwing it on here, giving it a nudge, and checking to see if it has enough power to make it all the way around. Which it does. Very, very, very easily. So this is what this design is going to look like. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, we do need to make sure that we have a way to collect our slime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my chests and my hoppers, and I'm going to set up a little area right here where I can collect my slime at. So that way it's not just constantly riding around here. And in order to do this, I'm going to need to break 2 of my rails. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my hoppers, I'm going to feed them in directly like so they come all the way back. And then I'm going to just feed 2 more hoppers into them just like this. After I've done that, it's as simple as just replacing these 2 blocks, or replacing these 2 pieces of rail. Now, what happens here is anytime our hopper minecart runs over this hopper, it's going to deposit the slime into the hoppers. The hoppers are going to feed it down into this chest, and whenever we need our slime, we can just come down and very simply just collect our chest, right? Or collect our slime out of this chest. Super simple. So, let's continue on. Our next step is very simply to take everything that we just did on this side and to replicate it on the opposite side. So, I'm not going to make you guys sit through this again. I'm just going to copy everything that's over here, and I'll be back in just a second. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We now have 2 exact copies of our delivery system and slime collection system that we're going to be using for the rest of this build. So, our next step involves lava blocks. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of everything that I have except my lava blocks and my smooth stone. Because what we're going to do next is we're going to come down here, and not on this block, but the block directly above it, we're just going to place in a row of 3 magma blocks. Just like so. And I'm just going to take this and run it all the way back to the edge of my chunk. Basically, you want this to start at the edge of the chunk, and you want it to run all the way back to the end. Just like so. So that way I have this nice little magma block platform right here. This is actually going to be what is going to dispose of our slimes and make it so that we can collect it. Because one of the crazy things about slimes is when they hit these magma blocks, the magma blocks will kill the slimes, but it won't destroy the slime balls like lava would. So this is a very easy solution to be able to do this. Now, we have this set up, so now it's time to actually start creating our platforms that we're going to use to destroy our slimes. And we're going to start off on the bottom row right here. We're going to take our building blocks, and we're going to just start creating a platform that takes up the entire chunk. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is 1 platform done for this slime farm that we are creating. Now, here's the thing. With slimes, they only need 2 blocks high to spawn. So I can just go 1, 2, and then up 1. And every level up that I go, just like so, I can create another one of these platforms. The only thing that I need to make sure of here is slimes only spawn below y equals 40. So, I'm right now, this is y equals 35. So it's 36, 37, 38. This will be the last level that slimes will be able to spawn on. So what you're going to have to do, if you go down as far as I did, you're going to have to go and create another platform for each of these levels. Now, if you don't have the materials for that and you don't have the resources for it, that's fine. start with one level, and as you gather more resources, add more levels onto it. This can be just your base level right here. But I'm going to go ahead and fill these in real quick so that way we can see what a fully functioning slime farm would actually look like. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that, I've managed to completely make all of these layers. Now, side note, these layers that only have two block gaps between them will only allow you to spawn medium slimes. They're not going to spawn these super huge slimes. If you want that, you need to either have this be 2.5 blocks tall, which means you're going to have to use slabs, or you're going to need this to be 3 blocks tall. But I decided to go with 2 blocks tall so I could get as many layers as possible in here. Your next step after this is you're going to need to grab some torches, and you're going to need to light this place up, because slimes will spawn in any light level. They will spawn in complete brightness, or they will spawn in complete darkness. And all we want to spawn in here is slimes. So, you need to be very careful about how you're placing torches in here, because the places that you have torches, these are areas that slimes are not going to be able to spawn. Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, now that we have our layers lit up, we can move on to the final stage of this project, which is definitely the most costly and definitely the hardest to do. So, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to create a way for the slimes to not just randomly stumble onto these magma blocks here. We're going to have to create a way for the slimes to actually find their way over there as quickly as possible, which is where our friends, the iron golems, come into play. So this is costly because it's going to require lots of iron blocks and lots of jack-o'-lanterns. But essentially what you're going to do is you are going to come onto your, whatever level you're on. You're going to come over past the magma blocks, and you're going to dig out a 3x3 area, just like so. And once you've dug out this 3x3 area, you're going to put some fences right here. You're going to throw down your iron blocks, and you're going to throw in your jack-o'-lantern. And what this is going to do is this is going to spawn in your iron golem. Now, what'll happen here is your iron golem will cause the slimes to pathfind over to him and try and attack him. They'll fail, of course, and if they're up top, they're going to fall down, hit the magma blocks, and they're going to burn to death, leaving their slime balls behind. So you're going to want to do one of these for every single layer that you have. Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, with that, this is pretty much it. So we have iron golems spaced out ever so delicately here with just one layer in between them, and trust me, this is going to end up costing you a lot of iron blocks, and that's okay, because we want to make sure that no matter where the slimes spawn, they're instantly going to try and go after the iron golems, and they're going to fall straight off the edge, down onto the magma blocks. They're going to die, and after they've done that, it's pretty much game over for them. So the last step that you have here, ladies and gentlemen, is you need to come down below. You need to get your hopper minecart sent off and going, which can be pretty difficult in creative mode. So what I've had to do is I've had to just kind of like cheese it here and add in a cheaty way to get this on here by throwing this here, throwing it on, and then jumping up and giving it a nice little push. But once these are going, they're going for good. And if you want to test to make sure everything is working, you can just go and throw something up top here, and as soon as that hopper minecart goes over top of it, it should pick it up, and it should end up down in your chest, just like so. So, let's turn this bad boy on by enabling mob spawns in my creative world here, and let's leave this running for about an hour and see how it works. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been about 20 minutes, and we have slimes spawning, and we have our hopper minecarts moving through, picking up all of the slime. You can see that some of the slimes are falling down over here, which is fine. You would just need to make sure that you blocked these areas off. Otherwise, they're just gonna fall down under here. But if we look, we did have some slime spawn earlier before I started recording this. And yeah, we're already starting to get some slime balls and some bones and arrows from skeletons that have fallen and died in the process of creating this. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, a super efficient slime farm that is gonna generate a massive amount of slime for you in a very short period of time. The only thing you have to make sure is you cannot be standing directly next to this, because slimes will not spawn if you are directly next to the area where your slime farm is. But, unfortunately, that is all the time I have for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure and give the video a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what kind of tutorial you'd like to see next, or if you found this helpful. And if you really enjoyed it, make sure and hit that subscribe button so that way you can check out the other tutorials and keep up to date with everything that's going on at the channel. I'm DK. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!